Remember when Donald Trump came into office in 2017 and insisted that under the communist, Marxist, anarchist Obama regime, the military's cupboards were bare and had no weapons, and Donald Trump had to go through and restock all of the weapons because the cupboards were bare? Well, that wasn't true. But Donald Trump now has started a war with Iran without knowing how it would end. Said it would be 2 to 3 weeks. We're in week 22. Now they're talking about, are you sure it'll be over by the end of the year? They won't even say yes. We don't know what victory would look like. We don't know, apparently, how many missiles the United States can afford to lose. Because after 13, 14 consecutive days of bombing, as I told you earlier in the show, Trump has abruptly paused the strikes. And he gave one reason, but the truth seems to be different. Trump said, they came to me, they begged. They said, sir, please stop the bombing. What appears to be the real reason that the bombing has stopped is the United States does now have bare cupboards. We are critically low on munitions. The United States has not literally exhausted every missile in its arsenal, but Trump was reportedly warned, we are starting to run low. We are depleting a lot of these inventories while the military was running out by the way of suitable targets without starting to go into war crime territory of deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure of no military value. So Trump launches an open-ended conflict, burns through weapons that can take years to replace, and then discovers, damn, maybe I should have planned a little bit better for this. Now, the administration is furious about having to answer questions on this. And when you ask them questions, their explanations are, it's not like, we never really find this stuff funny because lives are at stake, but it's sort of comically contradictory. Here is Trump's UN ambassador, Mike Waltz. He was asked, has the Pentagon started to ration certain weapons? And Waltz goes, it's Joe Biden's fault and our stockpiles aren't depleted. Wait a second. So is it Biden's fault that they are depleted or are they not depleted? And by the way, he also throws in the authoritarian nightmare of saying anyone talking about this should be thrown in prison. But they support the First Amendment. Take a look.
World's economies hostage.
You raise assets. I want to ask you about the assets. NBC News is reporting the Pentagon is actually rationing some defense weaponry amid diminishing supplies. Is America backing away from a larger military attack because its military stockpile has been depleted?
Well, look, we have to take a step back here in that a lot of stockpiles were depleted, not only from what we gave Ukraine over the last however many years, 4 or 5 years, and the administration inherited, the Secretary Hegseth inherited a depleted situation from not only Ukraine, but also the ongoing fight with the Houthis under the Biden administration and a depleted military under the Biden administration. So they have decided, one, they're going to new types of munitions, cheaper munitions, new technologies, but also with these new defense budgets, rebuilding our great military. However,
but you acknowledge
I want to be clear.
No, do you acknowledge they're depleted though at this moment?
I want to be crystal clear. The U.S. military, and I've verified this every which way, has everything that it needs to conduct this campaign as effectively as it needs to be. And I have to tell you, the people that are leaking this nonsense deserve to be in jail.
Well,
so which is it? Is it Biden depleted our munitions, so now they are depleted? Or is it they are not depleted? The report is fabricated nonsense, but it's also classified information that shouldn't have been released. Which is it? Now, Mike Waltz specifically blames weapons sent to Ukraine and weapons used in previous operations against the Houthis for why this is going on. Now, Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu astutely pointed out the obvious problem with this entire thing. The severely depleted interceptors were never sent to Ukraine. So if we aren't using those in Ukraine or sending them to Ukraine, how could that be the reason that they are depleted? And the United States has used more Patriot missiles during 5 months of Trump's Iran war than it ever provided to Ukraine. So the math doesn't make sense. And Trump owns this. Trump, I mean, listen, go through the list. Trump inherited 2.9% inflation, low unemployment, and a military that was not involved in a full-scale war. He chose conflict. He chose tariffs. He's escalated all of this stuff. He's gotten American service members killed, and he's burning through this critical defensive weapon stockpile. And now Trump is saying, oh, the reason I stopped bombing is Iran took such a beating that they begged me so nicely to stop. Iran denies it. Does Iran sometimes lie? I'm sure. Trump lies all the time as well. Reporters are describing a very different scenario, which is we're just running out of targets and we're running out of munitions. And there is a growing, this is maybe the most important part, there's growing resistance within the administration about the direction this is going and how this will destroy Republicans in November. Now, this is where we have to address the cognitive questions. On some level, Trump appears unable to understand the difference between I'm blowing stuff up, therefore I must be winning, and here is the strategy, and blowing stuff up is a carefully calculated tactic within that strategy. When military leaders go to Trump and say, we can't continue this indefinitely, and we're not really making progress on whatever the objectives are, which, by the way, we don't know what they are, Trump, instead of going, oh man, we should like wind this down, he invents a fantasy in which the Iranians are just begging Trump to stop. And he also threatened to restart military action if diplomacy fails. But with which weapons and against which targets and to accomplish what? Every Patriot or THAAD interceptor that was used in Iran is one that now cannot protect American forces or allies elsewhere. These weapons can't instantly be replaced. If you are sick already of the military-industrial complex, which I am, it should be even more sickening that this harebrained war is going to feed the military-industrial complex by needing to replace these wasted munitions. The promise was peace. He started a catastrophic war, drove gas prices again up $4 a gallon, and he's depleting the stockpiles for which you and I, our tax dollars, are going to go to replace this stuff. We may be close to out of missiles, but Trump's out of ideas. He's claimed that we've won the war 50 times, and yet it simply continues. Shopping for a mattress is one of those things that most people put off. Once you finally decide we're going to do it, you just start guessing, which is why our sponsor Helix Sleep is such a great way to go. I've been sleeping on a Helix mattress for years at this point. You go to the Helix website, you take a short little sleep quiz, answer a few questions about your body. How do you sleep? What kind of feel do you like? What are you looking for? And they will match you with a model that is built around your preferences. And that's it. It just simplifies mattress shopping. The thing I most like about my Helix mattress is that the whole process was very straightforward. I just answered a few questions. They matched me with a mattress that is what I wanted. And I've had it for years. It's in perfect condition. I'm far from needing to replace it. Go to helixsleep.com/Pakman for 27% off site-wide, a discount they are only offering to my audience. The link is in the description.